Hi, this is Lori,
And this is Peter.
and we're with Action Heroes LA with our special So Bad It's Good double feature from 1980. Part one is
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon, and you have to forgive me.
Flash.
We just did this whole review, and I didn't hit record. Are we recording? We are recording now.
We are
I
recording.
hate when that happens.
Even though it says stop recording.
No, it's the red light that says record and you can see the time running.
Okay.
That's what we need to check. And I didn't because it's been weeks since we've done this. We took an unplanned break. It was just because the end of summer, there weren't too many movies out that we really wanted to see. And I got caught up in a lot of stuff, got busy with stuff that it was hard to get together anyway.
Yes.
But so we watched we had a double feature weekend several weekends ago.
Yes, we did.
We decided to watch So Bad It's Good movies, and we're going to doing this two-parter with you. Our first part is Flash Gordon. Our second part will be Xanadu, so stick around for the next video. Will be on that one. But let's get into Flash Gordon from 1980. The theme song was by Queen. I remember 1980. I was probably about 12. I was hyped up seeing the commercials for this, hearing the song. Queen had just released, they were kind of at the height of their game. They had just released another one, Bites the Dust. And it was, for me, it was one of those songs by a white rock band that like hit in the black community.
Yeah, but you know what? I've always liked Queen.
Well, yeah.
So it's, I think they were a hit all the time. Even when they did opera.
Oh, when they did Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah. But when another one Bites the Dust, it was like funky. It was like, oh, this is a jam. I always like Queen, but this is like, now they're really.
Yes.
So, yeah, I always think of that because there's other songs like David Bowie's Fame.
Yes.
And Benny and the Jets by Elton John.
Yeah, Benny and the
Those
Jets. Oh, man.
Black people love them songs. We love them songs. We were like, I don't know about them. I don't know about Elton and David Bowie, but they say some weird dudes, but goddamn, them songs are funky. Yep. But anyway, so this was directed by Mike Hodges.
Even James Brown said it was funky.
He did.
Yeah.
I wish I could do a James Brown impression. I would have broke it to one right there. But this is directed by James Hodges. Queen did the theme song. I wanted to mention, I didn't get to mention last time, I'll get into the score by Howard Blake. But this movie starred Sam Jones, Max as Flash Gordon, Max von Sydow as Ming the Merciless, the bad guy. Melody Anderson is the actress who plays Flash's love interest slash, co-adventurer on this, because she got some stuff to do. It's not just being a love interest.
I thought from the beginning, the movie was, you know how you see something and then it wrecks into something and then it's over. it was like seeing that in
like
reverse. It was like you seen the wreck first.
And then?
Yeah, because the guy was a Jet quarterback. Yeah, a Jets quarterback is going to go save the universe. That'll happen.
They can't even save the Jets. Ooh, gosh. And I don't even get into football. Jeez.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry.
bad.
Oh, my gosh. So, anyway, Brian Blessed, who plays the Hawk dude.
Yeah.
Who's, he's one of those, hey, it's that guy. You've seen him in tons of stuff. There's Kayam Topal, who I was shocked was in this, because I'm like, is that the dude from Fiddler on the Roof?
And I kept saying no.
And I was like, I think that's the dude from Fiddler on the Roof. He looks younger for some reason. And turns out, it's the dude from Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah, because I kept thinking, well, wait a minute. He was older in Fiddler on the Roof. That's got to be his son.
No, he is in this, but the shock of all shocks, the person who was in this for me was Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, it wasn't too much of a shock to me because it was a bad movie, and I think he's a bad actor.
I disagree. I love Timothy Dalton. I even liked his Bond movie. License to Kill was. I love. Well, Gladys Knight did the theme song to that, so I love that. And she's one of my favorites. No, I remember seeing that. He's been trashed as Bond. I've seen him in a lot of stuff, BBC, costume dramas, and he was on Chuck playing a great villain. And I love Timothy Dalton. He always like brings a certain gravitas to roles, and a seriousness and intensity that I really like.
You know what role I would think he would be good in? Getting hit with a bat.
Oh, jeez. What is your thing against Timothy Dalton?
I just think he can't act.
What? That dude's got to have some Emmys or
Look,
somewhere.
I've been in a bathtub and farted and had bubbles come up. He can't do that.
That doesn't require acting.
Yeah, nothing he does.
I disagree. Timothy Dalton's great, but he's in this, and very shockingly, this movie was produced by Dino De Laurentiis, and we'll get into that because one of the interesting things, he held the rights to it.
Wait a minute, wasn't he the Flintstones dog?
No, actually, he's the uncle of Giada De Laurentiis. Everybody knows her. She's always got food shows on TV. They probably know her more now than they know him. But anyway, no, the Flintstones. Oh, wait a minute. They did have somebody, didn't they? Dino. God. Anyway, this was originally optioned by Federico Fellini, who is a filmmaker. You hear about famous auteur. I haven't seen any Fellini movies, but they're some kind. They're an experience. So that would have been interesting. George Lucas wanted to make this movie, but could not get the rights. So he decided to make up his own little sci-fi.
Was
movie.
it that Star Wars thing with the?
Indeed, it was. So because George Lucas couldn't make Flash Gordon back in the 70s, he made Star Wars, and thank God for that. God, I love the theme song. So anyway, my biggest thing, Dino De Laurentiis, but this movie. Well, actually, how did you get it? Let's go through the story of why you were telling me about this movie for years. That it's so bad it's good.
So I was working at Disney, and there was a coworker of mine who said, "We have to. You have to see Flash Gordon," and it was just as that movie Ted had came out, and he said,
"Okay."
They mention it in Ted. He even has a small part he comes in at. Oh, so I said, okay.
The actor, Sam Jones.
Yes.
Sam J. Jones, I should say.
So I said, well, you know what? Maybe I'll see it. So then he said, you know what? It's one of those movies. It's so bad, it's good. So I said, well, I definitely have to see it now. And it was bad, but it was good because it seemed like everybody knew it was bad. But the second time I saw it, it wasn't as good.
It wasn't as so bad it's good.
No.
For you.
And then the third time when we saw it here.
When we watched it.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, it's cringeworthy.
You're like, oh, this is just bad.
Yeah, it's not so bad it's good, it's just bad.
It's just bad. So bad it's good works because you've watched it enough times and you're so familiar with it. And then when it gets into a movie like Ted, and everybody's in on the joke, it kind of reflects back. I think it makes it even more kind of sentimentally appealing.
Yeah, and it did make it appealing. I did see. I had seen Flash.
Okay.
And then I looked at Ted, and when I saw Sam Jones coming through the crowd and kind of doing the
hair,
the soft and in slow motion hair and everything else, and it that became pretty funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good on you, Sam Jones. So, I mean, my issue, I wanted to see this as a kid. Then, the song was out. Anyway, I'm going to be doing that the whole time. And, it was the era of Star Wars and Superman. So, of course, Flash was going to be great because they're doing all this great stuff with special effects and everything. And then it came out. And I recall it bombed and it got horrible reviews and it was like, don't even bother. So I never even bothered until you kept mentioning it. And I was like, you know what? Let's do a bad movie weekend. Let's do a so bad it's good weekend. You get to show your choice and I get to show my choice. So for me, it was just so bad I didn't have as much fun. I was hoping with this. The movie kind of, well, and one of the things I had to do research on is Dino De Laurentiis wanted it to be a comedy. I think initially they wrote it was serious. Taking it, he's like, no, more comedy, and the movie it suffers because of that. Some of the actors think they're in a serious movie. They're doing the next Star Wars. Some of the actors know it's a campy B movie and silly, and it just clashes in that way.
And well, the thing that I really noticed watching it for the third time, hoping again that it was so bad it's good, but as soon as I saw Timothy Dalton, that was just it.
Oh man,
because he's just bad.
Well, he's one of the actors. He does serious stuff great. Well, I've seen him do comedy pretty good. But you bring him in for serious stuff, and so he's going to be. And that was kind of a weird turn. I could see if you in this movie, he's serious, and right at the end, he's like, "Oh, okay, it's a comedy." It's just like the tone is just all over the place. But I still love Timothy Dalton. I don't care what you say. Anyway, so it was one of the things. What I did like about this movie, I know Queen is saying, "Oh, they did the music." Well, they did a song. The actual score was done by Howard Blake, and actually the score music is pretty damn good, I thought. I love the rich colors of this. The special effects look dated. I did love some of the costuming where they really took in Asian styles and incorporate Pan-Asian styles. It's okay, you can see that's a little Thailand, it's a little Chinese, that's India. In pretty much like Ming the Merciless and some of the costuming there, I thought was really, really good. Some of the others not so good, And
well, the thing is, once they got into space, it did look like the colors really started coming out. I didn't like the backdrop of the clouds in the sky.
You have to mention the clouds.
Yeah, oh Lord.
Oh man.
Nope.
I haven't been able to trust the cloud since Nope. So anyway, but I think maybe 40 years ago when this came out, the special effects might have looked. I don't know. It's hard to say. Did they look good then? Because it seemed like they were going for that old style in honor of the original comic material. They wanted it to look like that. They didn't want to update it and make it sleek or anything like that. But it just...
Well, they really should have done that. I was born in 1957. In my backyard in the 60s, I did better special effects than they did.
Yeah, it's just... It's kind of a movie that's all over the place. It's hard. It was hard for me to kind of have fun with it that I was hoping to have. But I don't know. Maybe if I watched it again and I got familiar with it, I would. But it was a tough one.
Well, I thought it did have a place. It's called a garbage can.
Okay. Well, one of the things while watching this, particularly because the color-wise and. This movie reminded me of this kind of legendary art house horror movie from the late 70s called Suspiria, which I thought was a curious thing to remind me of. Because, I don't know, and for me that movie was bad too, but it's got this kind of cult status. And I think because of the visual style of it at the time, it's so different from horror movies you expect that it's kind of got this reverence.
I want to see that movie now.
Well, you can call Hamilton. He has a copy, and we watched it one time. I was like, "What is this? It's weird. It's really weird. It's weird and just huh? It's it's weird and bad and curious." But anyway, so that it reminded me of that. Gosh, what else was it? I wanted to. Actually, talk about the success of this movie. Like I said, I remember it bombing and just kind of disappearing. And just don't even bother. Go see Empire Strikes Back again. Yeah. Because they were out in the same year. Which is really comparing those two. It's geez, this is really bad.
Yes.
But actually, this movie was kind of a modest success, and they were planning to make a sequel, make sequels of it. It had kind of mixed reviews. It did have some positive reviews, kind of like, along 50-50, which shocked me. I was kind of like, really?
Well, if we get the names of the people who liked it, I'm sure that we can find out that they were actually on death row.
Went on death row. What was it? Write this so you don't get executed.
It was either write a positive review or you can get off death row or something like that. And I'm sure a lot of them wrote it and said, "Yeah, kill me now."
Oh, maybe. But anyway, it's an interesting movie. The movie did have problems. Gino De Laurentiis was, I think when they first wrote it, it was a serious movie, but he's like, "No, let's do comedy. I want to do a comedy." So
wait a minute, wasn't he the guy who made the car?
What car?
The De Laurentiis, and then he snorted some cocaine, and
That's DeLorean. Oh. No, this is the uncle of Giada De Laurentiis who does.
They had his car in this movie, Back from Whence I Came.
Back to the Future.
Oh, that'd have been a great time.
Oh God! All right, anyway, let's move on. So Flash Gordon was, it's. I wished I wanted to enjoy this more than I did. I was hoping it lived up to a So Bad It's Good title that I can't wait to watch that again and just laugh at the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah.
Actually, some of the positive reviews, they got the campy and humorous side of this, and they were along for that ride. But it was just too schizophrenic for me.
Yeah, there was somebody that I thought would really enjoy this, only because they could laugh all the way through it, almost to the point of giving themselves a heart attack. And no, I started thinking again, no, that person would just walk out.
Who?
Glenn.
Glenn?
Glenn Stays.
Oh, okay. Our cousin's husband.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't think Glenn. I don't know what Glenn like.
Yeah.
I don't know what Glenn Stays.
No, this would be terrible.
Glenn would not like it, so we cannot give it the stamp reviews. Anyway, it was an interesting watch. I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
No, we've.
I think we've
done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Even with Timothy Dalton, I'm good. I did like Max von Sydow in this as being the Merciless. I thought he looked great. I love what he brought to the character.
I thought he looked like something from the 50s and 60s. And
I mean, he does, but he looked amazing like from that era. I thought he looked great.
No, I remember that black and white TV show, and it wasn't amazing.
It was good. Anyway, yeah, and that was the only issue. They did follow the Flash Gordon plot of this pretty to the T. You know, all the characters and their relationships were there. I think they tried to bring that style from the era that the comic was created, but one of the things I have a hard time seeing, and they're still trying to make this movie, trying to make a Flash Gordon.
Yeah, because they didn't make this one.
I think the material is just too dated. You know, the names of the characters, the look. You'd have to really do something with that to kind of make it palatable for current audiences. To make it palatable for 1980s audiences, even they needed to do something really. It was it seemed dated here, and it would be really dated now.
Yes.
And maybe that's why Gino.
If it's
was Gino
that was the Flintstones dog.
Dino. Okay. All right. No, but I mean maybe that's why he kept pushing it to be a broad comedy, because he felt the material was too dated to take seriously. So I think I figured it out.
You said broad.
Oh God, what is that supposed to be about? In the context of never mind. Anyway, so that was Flash Gordon Part 1 of our So Bad It's Good weekend. If you've seen it and have an opinion on it, let us know. Is it so bad it's good? Is it so bad it's bad? I'd like to know what you think. So leave something in the comments.
Yeah,
And
you're supposed to put them down here, but all I see is my feet.
to put him on his feet.
Put them on my feet.
We out to the next part 2. Stay tuned for part 2 of our So Bad It's Cute good double feature, which was my choice, Xanadu. We out.
Jazz hand.